We're reading chapter 32 of the Midler today. I think it is just 32. Yeah, it's a longer chapter today, so we're just going to read 32. And at the minute, we've followed Maggie on Mayor Anderson's truck with Una in, and they've arrived at a house of somebody called Cal, and she's hiding underneath the desk of the man. Mayor Anderson doesn't know that she's there, and we're hoping that she's going to be able to save Una. Chapter 32. Clank, clink, clattle. I crashed into a whole pile of billy lamps stacked on the floor. Shh, lamps, shh, please, shh. I steadied them till they fell silent. Breathe, breathe. A whole pile of billy lamps? Who has a whole pile of billy lamps behind their desk? You only get one when you're born, and you jolly well have to look after it because there isn't another one coming your way any time soon. Who would have left their lamps here? Inside, girl. Mayor Anderson pushed Una in through the door. I peered round the side of the desk. Una, head hanging, shoulders drooped. She looked ever so slightly. She looked up ever so slightly. She caught my eye. She didn't jump. She didn't smile. She didn't do anything at all. There were two doors, one on either side of the desk. They both had tiny oblong windows halfway up. Mayor Anderson had a good grip on Una's arm with one hand, her lamp and keys in the other. She kicked one of the doors open and bundled Una through. The door swung shut behind her and sank me into darkness again, except for a little oblong of billy lamp light coming back through the window. I crawled out from under the desk, peered through to where Mayor Anderson was. It was a corridor with lots more doors off it. Mayor Anderson picked out a key from the bunch and opened a door on the left. She pushed Una inside. I dodged back down next to the lamps. Mayor Anderson came back in. She dropped the keys on top of the desk and sat on it. It creaked. I held my breath. She huffed. She tapped her fingers on the desk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Her billy lamp lit up the wall behind. Shifferton Constabulary, said the words across the top. Constabulary? Was that an old police station? The lamplight shone on the curling ancient posters underneath. Eldists, blared one of them. Your country needs you. Are your neighbours following the edict? Better to spy than to die. Bring your lamp and come to camp, the best time you'll ever have. Work the land, lend a hand. And tucked down at the bottom, wanderers are squanderers. Mayor Anderson huffed some more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She got up, took her lamp, and went through the second door on the other side of the desk. Darkness. Alone. Did she take the keys? I reached up. I patted the desktop. I felt around. Nothing. Nothing. There. Something lumpy, metal, spiky. I pulled the keys down and grabbed a billy lamp off the pile. My lamp glowed in the corridor. I walked past the doors, quiet and soft. There were sounds. Murmuring, praying, crying, and something else. Humming. No, singing, soft as you like. I carried on past. There. A small brassy 9 on a door to the left. I knelt down, held the keys up to the lamp and searched through them. They had numbers etched into them. Here, number 9. I opened the door. Una, it's me, it's Maggie. She didn't leap up. She didn't smile. She didn't do anything at all. Come on. I got hold of her arm good and tight, just like Mayor Anderson. We've got to get out. I pulled her up. The window at the end of the corridor was still dark. We tiptoed towards it. Soft, soft, soft. But listen. That's singing again. Ever so quiet. Ever so soft. In the south side fields where the clover grows, I'm calling out for my EVO. Grey Willow. It was coming from door number 2. Can she hear me now? Can she see the fields under the shadow of the grey willow? I knew that voice. Been hearing that voice since I was knee-high. Lindy. I scrabbled with the keys. Number 8, number 10, number 3. Where was 2? Where was it? I dropped them onto the stone floor. Clink. I scooped them back up again. Number 4, number 1. Here, number 2. I pushed it into the keyhole. Lindy blinked in the sudden light. There was someone else there, lying on the floor, head in her lap. She was stroking his hair. Jet! I dropped to my knees. Is he okay? I grabbed his hand. Are you all right, Jed? Lindy, is he okay? Lindy stared at me. What? How are you here, Maggie? How did you find us? Is Jed okay? What's wrong with him? Lindy looked down to her lap. He tried to stop them pushing me around. They hit him, here, right across his eye. She smoothed her hand over his forehead. I held up the lamp and peered at Jed. He scrunched up his face and turned away. And we haven't had anything to eat in ages, she said. I don't think it's camp, Maggie. I think Mayor Anderson's been lying to us. She's been lying for years. I glanced into the corridor. There isn't any camp. She's just brought you here to sell you. Look, we have to be quick. Can we get Jed up? Jed, can you hear me? It's Maggie. We've got to go. Jed peeped through hardly open lids. Magsy? That you? What's going on, Magsy? Come on, Lindy, let's get him up. I shoved the keys and the lamp into one hand and pulled Jed's arm round my shoulder. Lindy wobbled to a stand. Her hair hung limp. She got hold of Jed's other arm. Una stepped in from the doorway. Who's that? Lindy stumbled back. Who are you? Get away, leave us alone. It's all right, Lindy, I said. This is Una, she's my friend. Una looked at me. She didn't smile. She took Jed's arm from Lindy, and the four of us hobbled out of the room. We went through the door at the end of the corridor and rested at the desk. The mayor will be back in any moment, I whispered, but we have to find somewhere to hide. But where, Maggie? Said Lindy. I don't even know where we are. Where? Where can we hide? Think, Maggie, think. The jeep. We could get down on the floor inside or climb on top and get driven all the way home. But the inside would be all locked up. We'd never be able to hide all four of us on the roof. Think, Maggie, think. The van. It was bigger than the jeep, and I had Cal's keys. The van key must be on here somewhere. There's a van outside, I said. We'll hide in the back. Quick. Magsy. Jed slurred my name. Shh, Jed. I spoke too close to his ear. Keep quiet. We're hiding. We helped him outside. Moonlit pulled on the jeep and the van. We made our way over. Oh, fresh air. Lindy breathed in deep, big breaths. Fresh air and lavender. She stood a bit more upright, a bit more strong. Lindy, I said, do you think you can take Jed for a moment? Lindy and Una steadied Jed while I searched through the keys. There must be one for the van here somewhere. What the? Cruz? Maggie Cruz? I froze. Solid. Still. Mayor Anderson stood in the front door, her mouth wide open just like Trig. Billy Lamp swinging by her side. How on earth? She looked round. Hang on, how did you get here, in the jeep? But how did you get out of the... Maggie, said Lindy, find the key. The key, where was it? What does a van key even look like? Doesn't matter. Mayor Anderson walked towards us. I don't need the details right now. I'm impressed though, if I'm honest. Didn't know you had it in you. Shame on me, eh? Underestimating a middler. Maggie! Lindy again. I fumbled with the keys. Mayor Anderson looked over my shoulder at the others. Me and you, Maggie Cruz, we've got a lot in common, you know. Dirty, dangerous, deceitful. We don't have anything in common, I said. Oh, come on, we're both middlers. We've both got a heroic older sibling, most of the time anyway. She glanced at Jed. And a useless younger one. Trig's not useless, I spat out the words. We're both prepared to sacrifice others in our efforts to get noticed. That's not true, I said. That's not me. Not any more. Mayor Anderson smiled. Her billy lamp lit up her chin on the underneath of her nose. Give me the keys. She held out her hand. Give me the keys and we'll lock these three up again. Me and you together. Then I'll drive you back home in the jeep. And you know what? Forget me and Mr. Etherall's apprentice. You can be my apprentice. You can help me keep everyone safe and warm and fed. I've been doing it for years, but I can't keep going forever. The town needs someone with guts. Cruz, the town needs you. She stepped closer, nodded at the keys. Give them to me. Don't, Maggie. Lindy was right at my shoulder. Pass them back here. Cal'll be down soon, said Mayor Anderson. If he catches you like this, he won't only lock these three up, he'll lock you up too. You're not going to get anywhere by hiding in this van. You can't even drive. Come on, just give me the keys. I hooked my lamp over my wrist and looked down at the bunch of keys. The one nearest to me was different from all the others. Flatter than a normal key. Smaller. That must be it. I can't believe I didn't see it before. I picked it out. Mayor Anderson was right, though. I couldn't drive us home. We weren't going to get anywhere. Cal'd get us out, one way or another. Mayor Anderson nodded at her open hand. Feel your fear, Maggie. Feel your fear and do the right thing. I passed the keys back to Lindy, the small flat one separated from the rest. She whipped them away. Mayor Anderson closed her fingers on her empty palm. The keys jangled. Clunk! The van was open. What's going on? Jed groaned. We're getting into this van, said Lindy. Come on. Mayor Anderson drew herself up. She was a full head and shoulders taller than me. The knife. Mr. Opal's knife. I pulled it from the front of my trousers, slipped it out of the sheath and held it forwards with two shaky hands. I pointed it right at the mayor. The light from our billy lamps glimmered on the blade. You're not locking any of them up. Not ever again. I stepped back towards the van. Shame upon any who refuse to send their eldest to camp, said the mayor. Shame upon them and shame upon their kin. Remember that, Cruz. Camp doesn't even exist anymore. The knife shook in my trembly fists. Mayor Anderson stuck out her jaw. Even so, I'd be pretty worried about my kin right now if I were you. After all, there are wanderers near Fenniswick, and they've a reputation for setting family homes on fire. We wouldn't want the Cruz house to be next on their list, would we? Tasha? It was Cal in the doorway, all properly dressed now. Cal, said the mayor, some kid's out here got a hold of your keys. I'm going to have to leave you to it. I'm afraid I've got an urgent job needs doing back home. She looked me right in the eye. Don't worry though, Cal. They won't get far. Lock 'em all up when you've caught 'em. You can have the fourth one for free. Mayor Anderson hurried over to the jeep, jumped inside and turned on the engine. I'd be pretty worried about my kin right now if I were you. What the? Tasha! Cal ran out. Where are you going? Who's got my keys? Mum, Dad, Trig, back home in Fenniswick. I had to get to them. I had to get home. Quick, Maggie, get inside. Lindy yanked me into the van by my jumper and slammed the door shut behind me. So they're in a van hoping to escape. Do you think they'll get out? Fingers crossed they do.